Hi everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon trading card game. Today we have Karen on your left with the beautiful Mew playmat, and Diedrich on your right, also known as Ace567. The link to his channel will be in the description. And I apologize that I haven't been uploading TCG matches in a while, it's just, I don't really know why I haven't. Anyway, as you can see, this video is incredibly sped up to about 2 times as fast as it was as the actual match took. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this. Diedrich actually... Well, this match happened a long time ago, but Diedrich participated in the Nebraska State Championships as a senior, and he placed third with a deck incredibly similar to the one that he's playing now, so that's pretty awesome. And Karen, this is the first day that the new format was available that included Primal Clash cards, so Karen was trying out a fairy deck with Mega Gardevoir. And the way Mega Gardevoir works is its attack is Brilliant Arrow, and it does 30 times the amount of fairy energy you have in play. So if you have 6 fairy energy, that's 180 damage. It requires 1 fairy and 2 colorless energy to attack, but usually you have it set up so that it has 3 fairy energy on it. So even just base attacking, you're doing 120 damage. Or, I'm sorry, 90 damage. So anyway, it looks like Diedrich is starting. Karen has the Xerneas and Spritzy on her side. Diedrich has a beautiful full art Landorus. Also gets his Fighting Stadium out in play, and, well, a second Landorus and a Professor's Letter thanks to that Karina. I'm not sure if I would have put down the Fighting Stadium right away. Seeing that he's up against a Fairy deck, maybe he should have kept that so that when Karen puts down a Fairy Garden, then he can just put down the Fighting Stadium, not only knock that Fairy Garden out, but potentially deal some damage to EXs. And we see the Professor's Letter for 2 Fighting Energy, and he discards both of those right away. Actually, no. It looks like he discarded one of them and an Iris with Ultra Ball and got a Manectric EX into play, attached the other Fighting Energy to the Landorus and passed. And I'm not sure what Karen went for there, but she did bench a beautiful Full Art Florges EX, and Florges has an attack called Bright Garden. It does 20 times the amount of Fairy Pokemon that you have on your side of the field. So potentially 140 damage in all, 100 if you have the Muscle Band, 120 without it. And anyway, I guess she played the Pokemon Fan Club because she got 2 Gardevoir EX into play and attached 2 Spirit Links, 1 to each of them, and passed. Now, Diedrich put an Electric Energy on that Manectric EX and used the Professor Juniper. And we're going to see the Jamming Net go on to the Florges EX, so it was a good thing that Karen put those Gardevoir Spirit Links on the Gardevoirs, because one of them could have been hit with that Jamming Net instead. And that would do 2 things. 1, it would make it so Gardevoir's attacks do 20 less, and 2, it wouldn't provide a free Mega Evolution. She would have to Mega Evolve and end her turn, like normal. And we see all sorts of things going on here. You can probably see most of it. There's a Hawlucha and a Lucario EX on Diedrich's side. We're going to see the VS Seeker from Karen for the, I assume, for Pokemon Fan Club. Now, in this situation, I think Diedrich's idea is to use Mega Manectric EX, and it's, I forgot what its attack is called. I keep wanting to think Assault Laser. But Mega Manectric's attack does 110 and puts the 2 energy from your discard pile onto one of your bench Pokemon. That could potentially power up a Landorus or a Lucario, but I think what he's trying to go for instead is just to cover all his bases. You know, Landorus is definitely a strong Pokemon, no one can deny that. But there are some things that it's resistant to, and in that case, Manectric EX is not a bad option. Its Assault Laser attack does 60, plus another 60 if your opponent has a tool on it. If you were to throw a tool on, say, an Yveltal EX, say a Jamming Net, then you're dealing 120 damage. And then Yveltal EX is weak to lightning, thus you're basically knocking it out just for 2 energy, which is really, really powerful. Of course, it can also be a good matchup against Seismitoad EX, which Landorus is weak to. Seismitoad is not weak to lightning, however, well, Manectric is not weak to water, so that might be a good idea there. We see all sorts of things going on. You could probably see most of what's going on, but looks like Karen played a Max Potion and then put a Fairy Energy on her Xerneas, and now she is going to use an Ultra Ball to get a Mega Gardevoir EX, and she's able to Mega Evolve for free thanks to that Gardevoir Spirit Link. And, well, we might start seeing some awesome stuff going on here. Mega Gardevoir EX, I have played it myself. It can make some pretty epic comebacks. It looks like she doesn't even need a comeback at this point. Simply because, well, actually, I think Diedrich has taken a prize on one of the Spritzies on the bench. So he has 5 prizes left and Kieran has 6. That doesn't seem like much of a lead, but especially considering that half of Kieran's Pokemon only yield 1 prize. The only Pokemon on Diedrich's side that yields 1 prize is that Hawlucha. So we'll have to see what Kieran does here. I believe she played an N. That would have been an ideal time for me to check and see how many cards Diedrich got, but oh well. She's going to evolve into Aromatisse and use Geomancy to get 2 beautiful holographic Fairy Energy into play, 1 on each Gardevoir. Doesn't really matter where they're put because of Aromatisse's Fairy Transfer ability. Of course, you can, anytime during your turn, move the Fairy Energy around on your side of the field as much as you want. So we're going to see Diedrich play the Karina, gets another Hawlucha into play, and then a Muscle Band. Now, that Hawlucha that he just attached the Muscle Band to, its Flying Press does 60, only 2 EXs, that's the kicker, it can only attack EXs, but it's doing 60 base, plus 20 from Fighting Stadium, plus 20 from Strong Energy, and then another 20 from Muscle Band. So really it's doing 120 to EXs, which is a lot. And we're just going to see the Hammerhead for 30 on Xerneas and another 30 to the Aromatisse on the bench. And what Karen really needs here is either to keep attacking with this Xerneas, which isn't a bad idea, get more Fairy Energy into play, or get a Fairy Garden so she can retreat for free and start attacking with that Mega Gardevoir. But then again, there aren't enough energy in play to one-shot this Landorus, so maybe it's not worth it. And it looks like she will in fact just Geomancy, put some Fairy Energies into play, 1 on the Florges EX without the jamming net on it, and 1 on the other Mega Gardevoir EX. And it's Diedrich's turn again. He's going to attach that Muscle Band to Landorus. Now, not Land's Judgment, Hammerhead is doing 50 to the active. It, of course, only affects the active, though, not the bench, so it's still only doing 30 to something on the bench. And we're going to see the VS Seeker for the N. And now we can actually count Diedrich's hand to see how many cards he has left in his prizes. Because N, of course, everyone knows what N does. Draw cards equal to the number of prizes you have left, so we see him get 5. So he did knock out the Spritzy earlier, as I thought. But I was too busy explaining things to really notice. So we see the second energy go on to the Manectric. Now it's able to use its Assault Laser if necessary. And we see the Hammerhead. Now that Xerneas has 80 damage on it. And after that Max Potion, Aromatisse has nothing. The power of Max Potion, folks. Still in format. Was a secret rare reprint in Plasma Freeze. I don't think it's been reprinted since then, so it'll more than likely be out of format come August. But for now, it's a very powerful card, especially in Fairy decks, which is able to transfer all that energy off of something and then Max Potion for free. No drawback. So we see another Fairy Energy get into play, and it looks like Karen still doesn't have that Fairy Garden, so she's not able to retreat. Well, she could retreat, but she would need to discard 2 energy from Xerneas in order to do it. Unfortunately, Xerneas does have a 2 retreat cost. We see the Fairy Transfer onto the benched Mega Gardevoir, and is she simply going to pass? Say, okay, take my Landorus. And it looks like Diedrich played a Juniper, so I guess Karen did pass there. And off that Juniper, looks like he got a Switch, which is not a bad card at all. Landorus EX does have a 3 energy retreat cost, so a Switch would be perfect here. He can easily switch into something else, but it looks like he's simply going to Hammerhead for knockout. And it looks like I guess Karen played a Max Potion there, and instead of transferring everything off and back on in between Max Potions, she just showed the card and said what she was doing. Because the damage went off of the benched Mega Gardevoir there. And we see a Colress from her hand. Colress for a mighty 9. It's about the second most that Colress can do as of right now. Of course, when Roaring Skies come out, there's that new stadium that allows you to put up to 3 extra benched Pokemon on your side. So we may one day see a Colress for 16. It is possible, folks. And we just see the Brilliant Arrow for knockout on that Landorus EX, and the Fairy Garden is in play, not the Fighting Stadium. So now that Hawlucha is only doing 100. Not a 2-hit knockout against Gardevoir EX, which has 210 HP. 2 Flying Presses and a Laser, that'll be enough, but Diedrich needs that Laser. And he would need it next turn, not this turn, because Karen could easily just retreat out of it. So I guess we see an N from his hand, because both players shuffled their hands, cut each other's decks. And we just see the Flying Press for 100. Now Karen could easily retreat into the other Mega Gardevoir, Brilliant Arrow for knockout, take another prize. She had a Lysander here, she could knock out an EX even, and get 2 prizes. I guess we see another Colress from her side. That seems to be exactly what's going on. Colress for 9 once more. And the Brilliant Arrow here will knock out this Hawlucha. It'll knock out everything, and there's yet another Fairy Energy going into play. So now Brilliant Arrow is doing 90, 180, it's doing 270 damage if I have counted it up correctly, because there are a total of 9 energy in play. And it does 30 times the number of Fairy Energy. Well, 30 times 9 is 270, which is amazing. So we see the Dowsing Machine. And this is where things were kind of getting a little weird. I remember actually being here, and what happened is Karen played her Dowsing Machine and then began looking through her deck instead of her discard pile, and she did end up getting the Max Potion for the record, but for a second there she looked through her deck instead of her discard pile, and we needed to call a judge over to figure out what to do. It wasn't necessarily we needed to, it was that I was looking at it and I decided to, just to be safe. And for the record, that's no penalty. It's just if your opponent didn't see what was in your deck, if you didn't see what was in your deck, then there was really nothing necessary. So anyway, she got the Max Potion, took all the energy or all the damage off of Mega Gardevoir, and then used Brilliant Arrow for knockout. And now we see a Colress from Diedrich's side. He has some catching up to do though, because Karen's down to just 3 prizes. He still has 5 to take. Actually, no, he has only 4 to take. So, well, he really needed a Fighting Energy or a Strong Energy, preferably there, but he didn't get either. Luckily, Hawlucha does have free retreat. So if he wants to retreat into, say, the Manectric EX and then use Assault Laser, he can, and Assault Laser would do 140 in that case. The problem is, he's not one-shotting, and he knows since he's not one-shotting, it's very likely Karen would have access to a Max Potion, take all that damage off, and he will have essentially wasted a turn. In which case, would it be better maybe to leave this Hawlucha active as a sacrifice? And looks like that's exactly what he did, and Karen knocked it out. So Karen's down to just 2 prizes here. He promotes the other Hawlucha, hopefully he can get something, and he plays his Karina. Another Karina, I guess I should say. And with that Karina, well, it looks like there are no fighting Pokemon left, so all he can really get is an item card of some kind. And what item card can you hope for here, really? I don't know, guys. Karen might have just won this, thanks to that awesome Mega Gardevoir and its Brilliant Arrow attack. Looks like he... I really don't know what he can do here. He benches another Lucario EX. He does have a VS Seeker in his hand and a Skyla and all sorts of things, but is there anything he can do? Or is Mega Gardevoir just too powerful? He's just going to look and see what's going on. And there's a Lysander from Karen's Inn, and she wins the game. I hope you all enjoyed that awesome game, and just see how powerful Mega Gardevoir is. Once it's set up, it's virtually unstoppable. Thanks everyone for watching. Stay tuned for more.